Good afternoon. I'm Virginia Killmore and welcome to my studio. I'm so excited to share this cute little Christmas card with you today called Merry Moose. This is a stamp set that I bought and sold last year and rebought again this year because I didn't realize it was going to be in this catalog. This catalog is our holiday catalog, and when I saw it in there I said, oh, I have to have it again. So I decided to go ahead and reorder it. So today I'm actually going to share a cute little card I made with it that's actually more of a technique, but it's pretty easy to do, and it's a technique I've shared with you before. So let's get started. So this is the Merry Moose set, and I've used evergreen forest background to make it. So I'm going to show you that first before we get into the stamping. You are going to need all the supplies that are listed here, and I probably should zoom out so that you can see that. I always have all my supplies listed here, and if you can't get a hold of them, I usually post them when I post my presentations. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's presentation, which was at Coffee and a Card at 10:30, and I am going to be continuing that next Tuesday, so I just want to remind you that that'll be a live event next Tuesday. So let's do this part first, because that's a little bit of the tricky part, and then we will come back to putting the card together, because the card really doesn't take much time at all. So to do this, I am going to ink my folder, and I normally ink the front of the folder, but not in this case. I am going to ink the back side because this is the textured side, and the trick is to try not to get ink in the sky. Now, I can tell you right now, I've done it 3 or 4 times, and I'm not always really good at that. So I'm going to be as careful as I can, and then if I have to, I will go back in and clean it up. The best and the most important is not to press too hard, to let the ink do the work for you. If you press hard, that's when you get the ink in those spots that you don't want. But I will show you a trick to clean it up. I'm pretty happy. Oh, I can see a few limbs that I missed. So I'm going to go back in. I do have a few spots that there is ink on, so I'm just going to take one of my wet wipes and try to clean it up without losing the ink on the trees. Now, it won't be perfect, but nothing ever is when you stamp, and that's part of the fun, because it's a handmade card, not a machine-made card. I can also use a Q-tip, which would work well, but of course I don't have any handy, so we're just going to go with what we've got. I'm noticing right here I missed, so I'm going to go back and just touch that up again. And now I'm ready to put my cardstock in. So I am going to be using a piece of garden green, and because it's a vertical card, I'm going to place it on here right about there. Try not to move it once I get it on there. And now I'll bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine up so you can see the process. Now, because I'm using a 3D embossing folder, I only need my platform, which is number 1, and this plate, which is number 4. And I'm going to just run that through once. And I should have the effect of the trees being darker than the background. Okay, get that out of our way. And let's see what we got. Now, because we did it on the back side, you will not see it when you pull it up. You have to look at the other side. And it's actually the wrong side. Usually we would go ahead and have it the other way, because this is usually the texture people like, but I think it works great. Now to clean it, you can use a clean wipe or spray it. I usually like to take mine outside and spray it, but I'm going to just take a little bit of the green off and set it aside for me to clean later. We are using Mary Mousse today, which is the one that I told you that I rebought. I bought that and the punch I had kept, so I didn't have to rebuy that, but you can still buy it as a bundle in this catalog, which I think is pretty cool. They're allowing you to buy it as a bundle, and the bundle you save 10%. I like the fact that this one comes with an extra mousse that you can use to color in. Let's say you're doing it on a piece of white, Whisper White cardstock, but today I'm just doing it on crumb cake, so I'm not going to need that. I'm going to bring this in so you can continue to see it. Oh, did you hear my little card jingle? And I'm using Early Espresso ink and the stamp set to get my mousse out of here. And I'm going to give it a second or two to dry while I close this, and I'll bring in my punch right here. What I love about our punches is you can see what you're punching and you can line it up just the way you want it. This is a tricky one. It takes a couple minutes to sort of look at all the spots, make sure you're not accidentally chopping off something you don't want. There you go. I think I'm finally happy. And there's my mousse. I am also going to stamp the inside of my card. So I think that's what I'll do first. I have this rule that I like to stamp the inside of the card first, just in case I mess up, and then that can be the front of my card. So we're going to take this cute little raccoon, I think he is, yep, and we're going to stamp him right here on the inside on a log. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. It's starting to look a lot like Christmas. And I have to be careful because I don't know if you can see, there's some brown in there, and that's when I get in trouble. Usually I'll clean it off. But I did okay, no problems. So I'm going to set that aside and again close my Early Espresso. So now I'm ready to put my card together. And I'm going to first put my crumb cake on here. Look, I got ink on the front already. And before I go ahead and put my card together, I need to put my ribbon on and make my little bow. So I'm going to get out this set of ribbons that I love, the gold twine and the shaded spruce. I'm going to cut a big piece of shaded spruce because I want it to wrap around, and a ribbon like that is hard to get to wrap around. And I'm also going to cut a longer piece of the gold cord because I'm going to need to have a spot to glue that down. So I'm going to flip this over and get a lot of tape on here. The reason being is that I'm going to be putting that gold cord down. My finger's sticking to it. One of the problems with using the tape on this is because it has been run through the machine, it is a little bit more delicate. So it's ripping, the layers are coming apart. But it's not going to matter because it's going to be behind my card. And I'm going to work from the front so that I can see what I'm doing. And I think I have enough tape back there to get the gold cord down, but we'll see. Okay. There we go. This doesn't quite reach, so I'm going to put a little piece of tape right in here just to make sure that gold cord stays. And now I can actually adhere it to my cardstock. Again, I'm going to use my green glue. I like to always put a little glue over my ribbon just because that's one more level of adherement, or locking it in place. Nothing is worse than sending off a card and discovering that it came apart. I've never had anyone tell me that, but you never know. I've received cards that are like that. And I'm going to place him on here with some dimensionals. And I'm going to use the minis so that I can get lots of them on there. I'm going to get one on his rack there. I think that's enough. Use my pokey tool to get those off. I'm missing my take your pick tool today. I think I did something with this. My take your pick tool. I must have used it on something and didn't put it back where I usually do. I have this idea that if I put everything in the same place all the time, when it comes time to find it, it'll be in the same place. Sometimes I don't do that. So the last little step is this little bell, and we have these cute little jingle bells. I think I'm going to put a gold one on this one because it sort of matches the ribbon. But I like the little touch of red there. And to do that, I'm going to take our gold cord and slip it through and make a bow, and then make an adjustment and put it on with a glue dot. So I'm going to go ahead and tie that off, and I can see I didn't leave enough here, so I'm going to rework that a little bit. There, I think, might as well have more. It's better to have more than to be fiddle-farting with it if it doesn't quite work. See how I'm fiddle-farting with it now? Trying to be so careful to save ribbon. I'm ending up spending extra time trying to get it right. Okay, okay, now I'm happier. Now I can make my little bow. A lot of people ask me, how is it that you always make bows by hand? And I'm like, I've done it for years. I was a doll maker for years. And the biggest trick is to just readjust it. You make too big of a bow, and then you keep pulling on the strings until you're happy with the outcome of it. And then the last trick is to lock it down. Now, once I'm happy, I'm going to trim off a little bit of the extra. And then I'm going to take a glue dot and put that down. And the glue dot is kind of nice because it serves two purposes. It keeps this ribbon in place, but it also allows my little bow to stay in place. Now, if you were shipping this, you might want to put a little piece of foam that you might use for shipping. Just put it right over that spot so that it doesn't break through the envelope. And then the last thing is I put a little North Star with a champagne rhinestone right up in here. And there's your card for today. I love the inside of the card. I think that little raccoon is so adorable. And this is a great card to send early. It doesn't have to be a Christmas card. It could be just, I want to say hello to you today, and I made this card for you. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and share if you like it. And don't forget that if you need any supplies, use that code. I'll see you tomorrow with another Christmas card. Hope you have a great day.